Welcome to memento, vivere. I have been obsessed with this album. No, actually, I have been discovering a lot of just new music recently, and it makes me very excited and very happy because I think the joys of life are very simple, very simple. New literature, new music, new maybe a cute little new pair of shoes, maybe. But I have been listening to this other album as well called Powders by Earth Eater. Face in the Moon, love. I really enjoy that song. I've also really been into. Oh my god, I went to the Science Museum with my nephews because. So, I think it's very important to be the person that you never had growing up. So, for me, I was never really close to my uncles, nor aunts, mainly because my mom kind of raised us in a little bit of a bubble, which is okay. I'm very grateful because we have to be grateful. We have to be grateful. I have just been okay. So today I kind of woke up in the not on the wrong side of the bed, but not necessarily on the best side of the bed, and so I have noticed and realized that it is very important to look at your mind and how it's kind of talking to itself. And I've been very mindful, very demure, very mindful of just okay. Let's be grateful for what we have. Let's look at our life and I'm grateful for my mommy. I'm grateful for having a job. I'm grateful for having oxygen. It could be 10 million times worse, and just focusing on being present has been one of the biggest ways that I can just restart and breathe in and breathe out. I think it's very important to realize when you're young, or create a habit when you're young to do so, because I genuinely just feel like life is just going to just it is what you make it. So I'm not saying oh my god, life is gonna be horrible, ew, no. I genuinely despise that mentality of either A, constantly looking into the future for salvation, and B, constantly thinking that the world is bad. I despise that, mainly because you are what you put out. So if you're putting out these negative thoughts, you're going to receive that negative energy. And that's just kind of what I've been, my life philosophy. Something else that I've been kind of into has been these hard kombuchas. This one is called Hooch Booch, hello, Hooch Booch. Nasty. I don't enjoy it. I really got into it because my bestie Jocelyn told me about them, and honestly, I'm okay. I grew up in Colorado, which marijuana is very, very we love it, and it's okay, lit, but I also grew up in a very organized religion household, which is we hate it, and it's the devil's lettuce, literally. But in all reality, the devil's lettuce was just a propaganda term of people who hated on the legalization of marijuana, and they didn't want to get it more popular than alcohol. So all of this negative propaganda for marijuana is actually backed up by alcohol brands, because they're losing all of their low key. I would rather be and then being an alcohol. I don't know. I've never been an alcohol. I've never been an alcohol person. It makes me sleepy. The only experience that I've ever had is once where I was way too inebriated, and I just blacked out. And that was the first and last time I ever did that. And that was the first and last time I was ever ooh, let's drink. Because honestly, it's the most disgusting thing ever. And everyone's oh, it's acquired taste. No, girl, I don't want to acquire that. I am sorry. Hold my hand. Hold my hand. Put that bottle down. Put it down. I just... Okay, also, we're 21. Live, laugh, and love. this is the time to experiment, and this is the time to learn your boundaries and learn your limits. I don't think it's necessarily unhealthy to, get into this, because who cares? Like, we're all born to die. Like, come on. Like, literally by Lana Del Rey. I love my girl Lana, but did you see that she, like, apparently she has this weird new boyfriend, and I'm like, okay, like, honestly, like, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, just enjoy the music, girl. Like, just enjoy the music. Like, you're not the one sleeping with this man. Now, if these people are, homophobic or Trump supporters, it's like, there's a difference between being Republican and being a Trump supporter. If you're a Trump supporter, like, girl, like, you do not love yourself. You don't respect yourself. You don't love people around you. Like, I genuinely feel that people who support Trump just hate gay brown people, and like anyone who isn't, straight and white. Like, that's how I feel. That's how I personally feel. And that goes, like, when people of color support Trump, I'm just like, girl, what is going on? Like, you must hate being your culture, and you must want to be white. Like, I'm sorry, that's the only conclusion that I can get to, because there is absolutely no reason for you to vote for someone who hates your people, and who hates the gay community, who hates the trans community, who hates people of color. Like, there's just no reason for you to do that. And if you're honestly voting for him, like, go for it. Like, free will. That is what being an American is. It is what it is. But don't ever think that I'm going to breathe the same air as you. Like, I'm sorry, like, that's just not a realistic point of view. Like, I just don't see how people can take away rights from other humans. Like, what? Like, what is going on? Like, that's not part of my, I do not love that for you. Speaking of loving that for you, I hope you know where that's from, because that is from Drag Race Philippines, which, oh my god. Okay. Speaking of marijuana and growing up in Colorado, I like stopped smoking because I realized I went on a 4-mile run, and I realized that it was really, 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 really messing me up. Like, just my breathing and whatever. And I was like, okay, let me get to the bottom of this, because I am a person that I will self-analyze until the cows come home. Like, I will self-analyze until there's no more self and there's no more analyzing. Like, I will, it's a little bit bad. So lately I've just been like, surrendering, and it is what it is. But I was like, why do I love this? And it's basically because it allows me to just like, just escape my mind, and it also allows me to like, in my head, I was like, it's allowing me to be creative, whatever. No, I think right now I don't have the self-discipline, or, I just don't want it to block me in my presence. I think right now, my biggest goal and my biggest thing when I wake up, like my intention of the day, is to be as present as possible, because I really, 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 really value, the gift of being present. I think it's something very important, and I think it's something that we should all try to like value, because that is where we truly, the present, the now, that is truly where we are in general. Like, there is no past, there is no future. Like, that, the only thing we have is the now. That is the past body, the trauma, whatever it is, and then the future, it is an illusion. The future is an illusion. Like, if you're constantly in the future and constantly, like, me personally, like, if I'm constantly in the future and I'm constantly being like, whenever I do this or whenever I do that, then I'll truly be happy. Well, actually, no, because you're actually not being happy in the present moment, and you're forgetting about the now and the how and how I'm going to get there. Like, you're fully forgetting everything in between, right? So it's not a problem to create goals, because obviously life kind of depends on your goals and like what you want to do or whatever. But when you solely focus on that, you forget the now. You forget where you're going, like how you're doing these things, and that's where you get this sense of like burnout, or just these. Okay, so these past 2 days, I've been waking up with like just a lot of like anxiety, and like just like just like, I don't know how to explain, but just like grunty feelings. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Because life is beautiful. Like, truly, life is beautiful. I have so many things to be grateful for, and I'm not trying to brag. Like, that's, you also have beautiful things to be grateful for. You have oxygen to breathe. You have, hopefully you have a family that loves you, or friends that love you, or whomever that loves you. I think focusing on things like that just makes you feel so grateful. You are, you know, for me, I'm like, I'm able to create and I'm able to do what I love. But what I noticed was that, you know, fogging up my mind wasn't very helpful for me, and it wasn't very fun. And I was kind of like losing myself, which you don't lose or find yourself. You're always you. You're always you. Life is always this. Like, life is perfect. Our mind and our, you know, constantly being in the past or in the future or whatever makes it, damages that, you know? So I've realized that reading this book, Power of Now, it has truly really like just changed my life for the better. Like, I'm not saying like, oh my god, like I'm literally just a little saint and like I'm a nun. Like, no, girl. Like, I think what it is that I'm learning how to surrender, how to be present, and how to accept what it is. Like, in life you have, you know, like we complain and we're like, oh, I hate this, I hate that. Okay, well, you have a couple options. You can either address a problem, you can leave, or you can accept what it is. And when you do any of these three, you are, you know, being present, because you're also like, because you're addressing the problem. Sorry, I'm trying to like, I'm working on like staying on topic and focusing on finishing my sentence, because I genuinely know that like I don't want you to go crazy trying to like follow my mind, and like I don't know, you know, like we're doing better, like we're doing better. But this past weekend I took my nephews to the science museum. We watched this T-Rex movie, which was amazing. They were kind of bored because, you know, like obviously it was about these kids who found a T-Rex skeleton in Utah. I'm not sure where. South Dakota. And they were like, oh my god. But my nephews were like, girl, where's the dinosaurs? Like, we are here to watch dinosaurs. Which it was like on and off. Like, it would show like clips of dinosaurs and then like clips of them like digging. But overall, like, they were so excited. Like, they were running, like not running around, but like they were excited to like look at all the, you know, the animals and like the skeletons and stuff. Like, they remind me a lot when I was a kid, because I love the science museum. I love like the art museum. Like, I just love stuff like that. And they were like taking pictures with their phones. And then we went to Taco Bell, because that's my nephew's like favorite restaurant, which honestly, like, he's real. Like, a chicken quesadilla would just fix me. Although I haven't really been doing a lot of dairy. Yesterday I did have pumpkin pie because we had a like family party, which was also something that I was grateful for, because although growing, like, you know, I'm not applauding a fish for swimming. Like, I'm not going to clap for you if you like accept me or not. Like, girl, what? You know, like, you're doing the bare minimum, but not a lot of people have the bare minimum. I feel so blessed and so grateful that I have a, you know, a organized Mexican religion family that like they love me, and that they don't, you know, like they don't bully me. Although, like, girl, like, what? Like, but like I've heard stories and I know how bad it can get. So for that we're grateful. Like, you know, like, thank you. Like, just, I think I've also found this sense of like gratefulness and presence, because this summer my friends moved. Well, they moved and I went through a breakup, and then I kind of like fell into, you know, just like disassociating, and as an Aquarius does. Like, an Aquarius to the T, an Aquarius will disassociate, suffer in silence, you know, like just rebel, get hot, get sexy, and like, you know, do their hobbies. But as a Scorpio moon and rising, I feel everything to 1,000. I feel everything to 1,000,000, which is very exciting, but is also not the best, because I tend to like, as I said, dissociate and distance myself. So I didn't hang out with a lot of people this summer. Actually, I didn't. I didn't hang out with anyone this summer, and I know it sounds kind of like, girl, what? Like a little concerning, but I know I'm not the only one, and I know it's just how life works, and it's fine. Like, I'm okay. I I was homeschooled when I was 16. Like, I know, like, this feeling is not new. Like, I know this. But this summer in this summer in particular, I felt my emotions a lot more, and I decided to not allow it to, destroy me. Although I do feel like life is a constant, destroy, rebuild, restart, destroy, rebuild, restart. Like, I genuinely love that. Like, I thrive the most hitting rock bottom because I know what it takes for me to, like, start again. But it's not the best feeling in the world, and it's not my favorite feeling in the world, and I don't believe that we should do life alone, and I don't believe that, I this is the last summer I spent alone, baby. Like, like, I have learned my lesson. Okay, so last I'm saying, this break of weed, it really taught me how to, like, text. Sometimes I am the problem, and sometimes I just won't text my friends back or FaceTime them. So, like, that's been my biggest thing. Like, like, I've working out at home also, like, working out from home also has, like, allowed me to have a lot of more free time, which has been spent drawing, painting, recording, FaceTiming my friends, reading, which is a prime example as to, like, why being lonely is not a bad thing. I feel like there's this stigma of, like, being by yourself, or, like, being lonely is this form of, like, it has, like, a negative connotation, which, yes and no. Like, being lonely, it can, make you very sad. That's why it's, like, not for the weak. I'm sorry. Like, being like, being lonely is really not for the weak. Like, you really have to learn how to, like, be by yourself and, like, vibe by yourself. But you also have to, like, look at, bird's eye view, and look at your own habits. So, like, look at what you are doing. Like, for me, I had to, like, look within and be like, okay, girl, like, what's going on? Like, why, like, what is going on? I realized I was spending too much time at, working out. I realized that my priorities were sporadic, and I didn't actually have a certain priority. I also realized that I get very anxious when I text people, and then they text me back, and then I wait a while. So I've made it a priority to, like, text people back right away, like, right as I get the message. I let, 5 minutes go, like, it's fine, but, like, right away I try to respond to people because it gets to a habit where I just don't respond, and, like, I really don't mean that to happen. So, like, it's constant, like, evolving and learning. Like, if you're not learning from your mistakes, then, the past is really useless. That's what the past is for, to just learn from your mistakes, and the future is just to have some goals to work towards. But my main focus is the now and the present. So, what you're doing now is the most important thing. And for me, it's just been journaling and reading. This morning I went to my favorite cafe, and I sat there and just journaled, and it was really beautiful because, just writing down everything that's going on in your mind is like, mwah. But I've also, so I watched this movie called the Deliverance, and oh my god, I watched it pirated from Netflix, but it's on Netflix, just because I'm, like, boycott. But it's such a good movie. Like, it's really, really good. I'm going to spoil it because I don't care. It's my podcast. So basically, it's about these, like, family that moves into this house that's haunted, basically, and the person that gets haunted, they have to do acts of, like, embarrassment and just really insane acts that they do, and it's a really good movie. Like, I can't recommend it enough. I think it's very well done. It's very well thought out. There's no, like, cheap scares. It's just really amazing. I've also been into Drag Race Philippines. There are literally the Sugar and Spice from the US one. They're in Philippines, but, like, they're actually good. They're actually good. Angel and Maxi. Oh my god! I love him. Like, I love him. Like, I love every. Okay, Jay Quinn is getting on my nerves, like, really, really, really bad. But, like, she's about to go home. Like, it's fine. I was so sad when the first person left. I was so sad. I love that person, but, you know, it's okay. But yeah, I think that this book, The Power of Now, I really want to talk to you about it because it's like it's today. I'm on chapter 4. I finished chapter 4, and what it talked about was how we have a choice, right? We have a choice to constantly beat ourselves up over the past or beat ourselves up over anxious feelings on the future. Like, if we're not present, we're going to lose the joy of being alive. And for me, I had lost that in the early summer. I lost that emotion of I kind of lost my romanticized mint, and I kind of lost the love of life because I kind of reached a point where you get to, like, I don't know, it's just a weird feeling. I don't know how to explain it. I'm very happy that I don't remember that feeling, or I don't necessarily know like exactly what that feeling was because I haven't felt that in a while. I've just, whenever I have negative thoughts about my life or whenever I get anxious about my life, because mind you, I don't think I'm going to school anytime soon. That was my biggest thing, right? Like, my biggest thing, something that I would wake up and beat myself up over was I feel like a disappointment and I feel like I don't deserve to be alive because I didn't go to school. Like, that was literally what I would think every single second of the day. And although, like, girl, like, just go to school, like, I don't want to. Like, I literally did those courses for psychology and I wanted to literally, because I just don't thrive in that setting. Like, I need to be in person in school. But now it's like, girl, like, everything. Although my something that has piqued my interest has been art school, which I'm very, like, I'm looking into, but I'm also like, girl, like, so we're allowing that to be. We're just surrendering and we're focusing on the present and what I can possibly do now, right? That's the only thing we have. The only thing we have is the present moment right now. Me, Manny Rico, I only have this. So, you know, I was like, okay, I really don't gain anything from constantly beating myself up and constantly being so sad over you know, being in the past of when I got homeschooled and losing all my social skills and all of those things. That's all in the past. That's all mental as well. Social skills you can rebuild on. People, you can always meet new people. That's not my fear. I genuinely don't have that bad of a social anxiety. Like, I go to concerts alone. I go to, like, movie theaters alone, like, restaurant. Like, I can do anything alone. Like, I think that is something beautiful that I have learned about myself, that I really don't care about, you know, outside opinion or like some form of validation, yes, but not enough to where it dictates what I am going to do, because I'm an Aquarius. Like, I genuinely don't care about, like, people's opinions over me as long as I know that I'm, like, very happy. Oh my god, also, did I not show you? I got my little you know, remember I had that heart right there? I, like, got it changed because the lady told me that my ear was rejecting it, but I also got my helix pierced and it's a little star and it's so cute. But I'm very happy about it. Like, I don't know, like, I love it. I think it's like a brand new fresh start for me. Like, just, you know, like, it's not the war worms. I love that episode of Katya and T.S. Madison being like, not the boar worms. But as I was saying, loneliness is not a bad thing. You have to change it and view it differently. Whenever you spend time alone, that is time for you to build yourself, and that is time for you to find a new hobby or to build your own hobbies. Like, that's what my biggest thing has been, like, building my own hobbies again, like painting, sculpting, whatever it is. Like, I've just been really focused on that. And also maybe like look at your habits, like maybe like daily habits that you realize aren't actually good for you. You're like, oh, let me change that or let me stop that. That's what I'm kind of doing, because it ultimately, like, life is what you make it. So if you don't put your part in it, like, you need to get the ball rolling, babe. But also be kind to yourself. Like, I don't like don't feel bad, or don't necessarily feel unworthy if like you're not getting invited to places or whatever. Like, I think sometimes you don't need to be there. You don't need to be there. Do not beg people to hang out with you. Like, that is something that's very low vibrational. Like, I'm sorry, I would never be caught begging someone to hang out with me. Like, I know my value and I know my worth, and I'll hang out with you when we hang out. But me personally, I think that it's very important for you to like just choose yourself. Like, it's very not sad, but it's interesting because we're supposed to be surrounded by so many people, or like not necessarily surrounded by so many people, but like we should be having friends. Like, I should have a lot of multiple friends in that I can hang out with throughout, my weeks or whatever. But that's just not the way the cookie crumbles. That's just not what it is. And if I constantly am caught up with like, you're just going to be stuck and you're not going to be enjoying the present. So I'd rather go out and then you meet people along the way. That's kind of how it will work. And I've felt this way of like loneliness, and then I've made friends and found friends, and then I'm like, oh, life is beautiful. So there's just this sense of balance and trust that you need to have in the universe and in divine planning, because ultimately everything works out in your favor. You just have to clear your mind and put your best foot forward. And I think that's just what it is. Life is truly just a roller coaster, and a balance and a pendulum swing, and like one day we're up and one day we're down, and I think just surrendering and realizing it is what it is can truly 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 just rewire your mindset and allow you to have a really amazing mindset moving forward. So that's just kind of what I've been doing. That's just been my main focus. Like, I just can't implore more. Like, I also can't just recommend this book even more. Like, I think since I've been reading this book, it's really truly given me a new sense of like, also like I've just had a new breath of fresh air. Like, I was really sad and I was really anxious for days. Like, I would go to sleep at like 1 in the morning. Lately, I've been going to sleep before 10. Like, girl, like, truly get out of your mind and get out of your head and realize that your mind is just a tool and the past is just to learn, and that's it. You don't need to identify with the past because that is an ego, and your future is an illusion, and you can create whatever you want, and just be focused on the present and everything will be beautiful. I promise you. But yeah, that was today's podcast. I love you so much. Watch that movie, go to the museum, listen to amazing music. Watch Drag Race Philippines. Mwah. But yeah, bye. Love ya.